the hardest part of that ring.
For the hardest part of the ring.
Hello and welcome to episode 106 of Hardest Part of the Ring, the podcast where four friends get together to celebrate the wonder of professional wrestling. My name is Adam and I'm here again with Sam.
Heyo.
With John.
Hello.
And with Brett.
Hello.
The last podcast that you probably just finished listening to was episode 105, WrestleMania Night 1 review, and we're here now to discuss Night 2. Before we do that, we touched upon it briefly in the last episode. Do we think they're going to do this every year now? Is Vince like,
to an empty arena?
The two-night thing.
Two-night thing.
Oh.
I don't think they will. I honestly don't think they will. And I think there's a reason they can't do it on Saturdays as well, like big wrestling events. It's something to do with like boxing or something like that, I think.
Hey?
Interesting.
Really?
Yeah,
so
I think
it would
boxing
clash with other sports.
Yeah, I think boxing has like the whole thing about doing Saturday night big events. So that's which is why WWE.
I do a lot of work with boxing. I've never noticed that. I'm going to have to look into that.
I might be making that up.
Could be wrong. I know what you mean, though. I think that is a reason why they always have the pay-per-views on Sundays, because they don't want to clash with the big Saturday night events that would take away their audience. You know, so there could be something to that. Obviously, you know, it would mean potentially moving TakeOver to Friday night. So much to watch.
I mean, I hope it's not. It's just too long as it is, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Sam, you seem keen on it.
I like the two-night WrestleMania. I feel like there's actually a lot of potential they could do with that. I think it worked with Wrestle Kingdom. I think it's worked with this WrestleMania. I think they could lean into it a bit more, like maybe have a WrestleMania which is SmackDown focused, and then one that's Raw focused, or even kind of like have it so that you've got like a semi-final situation on night one, and then kind of like night two has a kind of champ v champ kind of sitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, not against some of that. I don't know. It's a tough one. Okay, let's get on with it then. Have a quick break and then talk about the second night of WrestleMania 36.
Oh no! Kevin Owens onto the hardest part of the ring. Kevin Owens' plan completely backfired. My guy's back in the ring.
WWE WrestleMania 2020/36. We know where it was held. We talked about it before. We know the attendance was minuscule. We know who did the comms, and we know that we all hate Gronk.
Oh, can we talk about, this is controversial. I know he's a bad person, but I really enjoyed JBL back on comms.
Oh, actually, yeah, I wanted to discuss this too.
I think I agree.
I think he's a good heel commentator. He's a dick. He's an absolute dick. And like, there's a point when he shouts out fake news, and I just wanted to just say like, fuck off.
Yeah.
But he plays that role really well because I think that's basically what he's like in real life.
And I love it when he says, Michael.
He spells it with two G's.
That was a great impression.
Thanks.
Sam, tell us, what was the card for night 2?
Pre-show, we had Liv Morgan versus Natalia. Anyone watch?
No.
No, why would you? Main card.
I like Liv Morgan, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, long-time listener Carl Luckhurst, he definitely would have watched that. He loves Liv Morgan.
And Liv Morgan I can get behind. Natalia
sure
can go
could.
do one.
Oh, good lord.
Come on, Adam.
Guys. We're not that sort of pod. Family show.
The main card of
Sure,
WrestleMania.
if she was
Adam.
standing there, you could just walk around, stand behind her. Don't know what you're talking about.
Are you done? With
I am
your
now
dad
done.
humour?
Continue.
Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley for the NXT title. Bobby Lashley versus Aleister Black. With Lana? No, that's the other way around. Bobby Lashley with Lana versus Aleister Black. No title involved. Otis versus Dolph Ziggler. Randy Orton versus Edge in a last person watching match. Street Profits versus Angel Garza and Austin Theory with Zelina Vega. A fatal 5-way elimination of Bayley versus Lacey Evans versus Naomi versus Sasha Banks versus Tamina. She's still employed.
Huge threat, Tamina.
The Fiend versus John Cena in a career retrospective Firefly Funhouse match. Main event, Brock Lesnar versus Drew Mack for the WWE Championship.
So, we are going to talk about key matches. We've picked out 4. They're going to be Charlotte versus Rhea, Edge versus Randy, Bray versus John, and Drew versus Brock. We'll also do the best of the rest, worst of the rest, pick a star performer, and then give it an overall rank out of 10, and then work out the average of night 1 and night 2. see how that affects things and see how WrestleMania stands up to other pay-per-views we've reviewed. So, key matches. And the first one was, in fact, the first match of night 2. It was Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley for the NXT Women's Championship. And,
match of the night!
I think Rhea Ripley is the person I'm most, maybe Drew, but most upset for that she didn't get to have this match in that massive stadium in front of all those fans, because we had the VT of her sitting in the middle of the stadium.
Yeah,
and I'm with you. I loved this match. I thought it was phenomenal, and I love both these wrestlers. I just wish there had been a huge crowd.
Rhea Ripley was our wrestler of the year, wasn't she?
She was indeed, and rightfully so with this performance.
Yeah,
I can't remember the last time I've enjoyed a Charlotte Flair match this much. Like, it feels like she's been the victim of some maybe dodgy booking for a while now, where she's not been given a good, just one-on-one match with a credible contender for a while. And this, holy shit, is she a fucking good wrestler?
Yeah.
Excuse my swearing.
It's fine. They're both great. They really are. And I love the whole story this match told. Brett?
I love this. I think also we know Charlotte's great, but this really showcased how great Ripley is as well. Just like, in all the stuff that they did, it just like she was definitely up there.
She's a great screamer.
Yes.
My God. Screamed her little face off, didn't she?
And there were just so many moments that were like a proper fight. It was scrappy. Like every time she was going for the figure 4 or the figure 8, whatever, when she extends it, like she was scrapping her away and really like, it felt like she knew what was coming, and I'm actually going to fight to stop this rather than, I'm just going to counter it. It was really good. Really
they told
feisty.
Such a good story in this whole match. Just the knee injury the whole way through, the kind of the strategy Charlotte brought to it, and the way they demonstrated that, these two are very similar, but Charlotte, she's got that edge of experience, and that's kind of what it came down to in the end. This reminded me a lot of like a New Japan match, and I mean that in the most complimentary, best way it can be.
Yeah, I thought it was like a classic Bret Hart match as well, because it's like that, targeting a limb, targeting a specific point, and working on that throughout. Like, and also, taking a bit of beating early doors, and then building back to it. It was really good.
Yeah, agreed, John?
Yeah, I mean, I thought this match was super. Just so intense, Man, I felt stressed afterwards. Super.
They had some incredible near falls as well that, although I did think would have been so good with the crowd, they still kind of worked.
Yeah, especially that early riptide when Rhea hit Charlotte that early riptide. I thought, oh my God, they're not going to end it here.
Imagine.
My one criticism would be this should have been the main event. This should have been the final match on the card.
The NXT title, though. I don't know if Rhea Ripley should be headlining WrestleMania.
I really didn't know what was going to happen in this match either, though, because it was the NXT title and because it was Charlotte Flair. And if she, you expect Charlotte to win it, but what will she do with that belt? Like an NXT, it's exciting. What's going to happen? But it was like you just think, oh, that's not going to happen. But then you think Ripley's probably not going to go over Flair, so is it going to be like Charlotte cheats and then like Ripley wins but she doesn't get one over on Charlotte? I thought that's what I thought was going to happen, and it was so great that didn't happen, and it didn't feel like that either throughout the match. I
kind of hope that they actually have Charlotte vacate the belt. I don't think she's got anything to prove having the NXT belt. Like, she is probably the best women's wrestler in the world. Yeah. And, with all due respect to the NXT women's roster, I don't feel like them maybe lucking out over Charlotte is going to do them any favours. Whereas... Sorry, come on, Brett.
Yeah, I was just going to add, I don't like, the women's roster in NXT is good. It doesn't need a Charlotte Flair.
It's at a point at the moment where they've got a lot of new stars coming through with the women's roster, and if they were to have Charlotte vacate the title and have a little bit of a tournament, and you end up with an Io Shirai versus Dakota Kai or Tegan Nox kind of final, that's a great potential for NXT.
But I was going to say, what do you want to see? Do you want to see Charlotte going and having matches with Io Shirai or Candice LeRae or tegan Nox or whatever, or do you want to see her coming back and having another feud with Lacey Evans, or or potentially something with Naomi?
It would be great to see some of those matches, though. That is true.
Would, yeah.
So why not let her have those matches for a few months and then lose?
I suppose so. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree.
It'd be great
with
to
that
get
either.
like a takeover with Charlotte on it.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
I kind of feel like we've sort of said with Charlotte, it's like, well, what else? It's like she should always be in the title picture. She should always be headlining from a women's perspective, and that was getting a bit much.
What I
so this
worry
is great.
about is that kind of Charlotte having the NXT women's title might be a little bit like Brock having the Universal title or whatever championship he had, where it's like, is NXT going to suffer from like an absentee champion where everyone's fighting just to be top dog, only to be fed to Charlotte?
I did see, and it's a very good point, and I could have just passed it off as my own opinion rather than saying I read it somewhere. But
You'll get called out on that eventually.
yeah, that obviously WWE are trying to compete with AEW on Wednesday nights. So by getting Charlotte over to NXT for a prolonged period, that could really help with the viewing figures.
That's true, actually. Although I don't think NXT has anything to worry about in their women's division against AEW's women's division.
Well, true, but yeah, in terms of a whole show, like
Sure.
that is a headliner right there. So really
Fair.
exciting. Great match, really great match. And if there'd been a crowd, I think we could be talking match of the year, 5-star contender.
Oh, that's a big
Anyway,
It
it was so great. I loved it. I loved it opening up as well. The next key match we've got on the list, we are not going to spend hours talking about it, even though the match itself lasted for hours, or 36 minutes 35 seconds.
God.
I feel like it's still going on now somewhere.
Oh my god.
I feel like this may have coloured my perception of the whole of WrestleMania night 1 and night 2.
So we're talking about
go on.
I mean, just in case some people don't know, Brett, we've got to say what match we're talking about. This was, of course, Edge versus Randy Orton. Last man standing match / tour of the Performance Centre.
Before we rip into this, can I just say a few positives?
Edge's abs.
Edge's abs were fantastic.
I thought you'd mention that, John.
He does it. I mean, he looks great for a guy's
46.
age. Yeah.
46.
He's not 46, is he?
Yep.
He's older than 46, isn't he?
He said he was 46 during...
Oh, he looks terrible for 46. I think. I thought he was in his 50s. God damn it. Wrestling is not good for you.
Taker's in his
complexion,
50s, isn't he?
Who?
Yeah, I thought Taker was like mid to late 50s. Maybe we're getting us all confused. Anyway, back to the point.
Yeah, go on.
I thought both the guys put their all into this. Like, they worked so hard in this match. They were sweating buckets. I've never seen Randy sweat so much.
It could have been fucking great, no doubt. Just edit it down.
Yeah, I thought Randy's selling as well was top notch.
Even a short
That's all.
version
That's
of
all I
this.
have to say.
I have
about
one more
good.
positive to add to this.
What?
I like all the gay overtones of Randy Orton and Edge. I thought it was really good.
Oh, actually, the ending, that end bit with Edge standing over Randy with the chair was super cool.
Yeah. The last 5 minutes was really good, I thought.
I think Randy Orton kind of getting up in Edge's grill and just being like, "She never loves you the way I love you." This is not a storyline that I ever saw coming, but yeah, I'm okay with it. I think it was quite entertaining.
But it was way too fucking long, and it was just the
Fucking
same.
hell.
The whole match was just the same. They stumble into one area, a few punches, fall over, stumble into another area.
My
Criticism,
only highlight in this match is when the cameraman went over.
That was good. I enjoyed
That
that.
was exciting.
your criticism of the Boneyard match in the previous podcast of man hits other man, they stumble into something, they hit each other again, keep going.
Yeah.
That was this match for me.
Edge did a fair bit of like pulling himself up on something and swinging across onto Randy.
Some incredibly generous rest counts where Edge was still blatantly down at 10.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't realise that in a last man standing match, you can just tell the ref to stop counting.
I like that. I did like Randy telling the ref when to start counting.
I liked the moments when the ref started his 10 count and it went a little bit broken, high pitched. And so from then on at 2 or 3, it suddenly got really deep. 3. Like
We've all
he'd
done
go
that.
1, 2, 3.
That's me playing football right there.
Like it was 3 separate people. I think we can all agree that the feud has been good, hasn't it? Everything going into this has been great.
Yeah.
It was just so weird that, and we talked about this on the first podcast about how three of us really enjoyed the chat between AJ and Undertaker. I just found they needed some chat in this. It was just silent, and for some reason as well, the comms team kept on like being really quiet or not saying anything at all, as if they were just letting the match happen.
Their feed broke, their little video screen. Maybe that stopped, and they couldn't actually see what was going on, so they were just like silent.
I don't know, but that's why it just felt so long, and I zoned out a couple of times because there was nothing to engage me. Nothing was going into my ears. I had no sounds of. They should have been giving each other, smack talk.
The problem for me was just that there was not enough variety in this match. It was, unfortunately, like when you do a last man standing match, you're always going to have like an element of like, what move can I use to get you on the ground for 10 seconds? And it's going to be kind of a little bit like, I throw you into this, I throw you into that, set piece. And neither Randy Orton or Edge are really kind of that kind of wrestler. Like, both of them have established themselves kind of having explosive speed out of nowhere, and obviously they're a bit older now, and so maybe that's not quite as prevalent anymore. But I think this match was it was poor. Like,
how they were done early doors as well. Yeah. Like, very early on in this match, they were both out like they'd already been through a 36-minute match.
Yeah, like, I just think they should have played to their strengths, like kind of a 15 or a 10-minute match of just like, a lot more kind of, I don't know, just traditional wrestling would have gone a long way with this match. I mean, I was okay with the finish, but...
How can you say there's no variety when they were in the ring, they were in the arena, they were in the corridor, they were in the gym, they went backstage, they were back in another corridor, they went to the boardroom, they were on the meeting table, they went to a storage facility, they were on the pickup truck, and then they finished on the lorry.
Yeah. Fair point. There's a lot of variety in scenery.
The actual
wrestling itself is always the same thing.
It felt, for a match this length, there was no storytelling in it whatsoever.
No.
Ooh, I thought towards the end there was. I think you're right. For the first 25 minutes.
These guys, I mean, Edge is a great wrestler who was retired before his time, which is unfortunate. And Randy Orton, when he puts the effort in, is a good wrestler. There was no reason this match should have been as bad as it was, outside of just a misjudged kind of, we think this is what the fans want, and just fell flat on its face, in my opinion.
Just needed to fill that silence. There's no crowd. You need something to fill it. Little shout out for the start, though. Randy as the cameraman coming in with the RKO. That was
so
nice.
obvious.
Oh, I like that.
I liked it because he was the cameraman. That was cool. Because that's kind of the only way you can do it in an empty arena. Rather than him being in the crowd and him potentially hearing footsteps, he was already there.
Yes.
Also, did Edge launched himself on the chin up bar? That was pretty impressive.
Well, I thought that looked a bit rubbish.
Yeah, I thought it looked rubbish as well.
Because it's the same as when he hung on the thing above the meeting table. It's like, just jump on him. You don't need to hurt your hands by climbing in.
The thing is that the commentary, I don't think, knew what he was planning either. So a lot of the time they're like, oh, that was very innovative. And it was like, yeah, it was crap is what it was. He fell 2 foot into an elbow drop.
Yeah, and then really sold him being in pain, so I expect he probably was.
That was another problem, was the fact that it took Edge too fucking long to get up from his moves. Randy Orton was up more fast than he was most of the time.
Yeah.
And then when they were on the lorry and Randy Orton climbs down and it's like he's taken ages and then he's got to climb all the way back up again with chairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, if you go up onto a lorry, someone's got to get thrown off that bad boy.
Surely that's the end. That had to be the end.
Also, I was surprised when he came down off the lorry. Obviously, there was the snack table. There's some Kinder Buenos there, and he didn't help himself. How can he love Kinder Buenos and not eat a Kinder Bueno?
Possibly the best point made on this episode.
Misjudged madness.
They're also, next to the lorry, there seemed to be the biggest ladder I've seen in my life. I think it's bigger than any ladders they've ever used in a ladder match. And I thought, well, that's going to play a part, because look at it, it's fucking massive. And it didn't, he just walked past it.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah, big shame overall. Just too long. Okay, so that was the second key match. The next one is a very interesting one and very excited. And fuck that. Next one is a very interesting one to talk about. It is the Firefly Funhouse match between Bray Wyatt and John Cena. And who after the Boneyard match on night 1, who was devastated when Cena's music hit and he walked out and you thought, oh, they're going to have a straight match? Oh, no. Did that get you?
No.
I
always
thought they were going to do some stupid, weird shit, and they didn't disappoint.
I wrote down in my notes, boo, it's not pre-taped. And then I wrote, wait. I actually write down my thoughts.
I've got to know, Brett. What did you think of this?
Yeah, this is fascinating.
Yeah, Brett wasn't sure about the Boneyard match. Do you think anyone's not listened to the night 1?
I loved.
Yeah.
I loved this.
Oh, yes.
This
I
was
loved this
excellent,
because-
but how could you love... Okay.
Because, like, it was different. It was funny, as it was so funny.
Concept art, this was.
Yeah, it was more art. It, like, threw in elements of, like, old school WWE and Bray Wyatt.
It wasn't a wrestling match.
No, it wasn't a wrestling match, but Bray Wyatt, creatively, like, outside of a wrestling match, you know, yes, he is, like, decent in the ring, but not, you know, nothing sets you on
limited.
fire. But outside, character-wise, gimmick-wise, creativity, story, feuds, he is a master. Like, they should let him write stuff for other people because he's just brilliant. And so, and what was so good about this, when you watch some films that John Cena's in these days, like the comedies, like, he is the perfect straight guy to have the mick being taken out of. Like, and he takes the piss out of himself now quite a lot too, and it's just brilliant. Like, that he fits that role perfectly. And in this match, when they came out with all his different characters, and he just, like, especially when he was pumping those weights behind the cage, and he was like, it was just, it was amazing. And then he couldn't move his arms because they were just done and flailing.
He did that brilliantly. Yeah, that looked real. He's a great sport, John Cena.
Yeah,
it was really excellently produced. It had very Adult Swim vibes to it. It reminded me of Too Many Cooks.
Yes. Oh my god, I'd totally forgotten about that.
Just I'm gonna have that stuck in my head now for the rest of the night. Man, this was just really interesting. Kind of like, I think there's part of me that was watching it was just like, kind of, if I was watching this and I was 10 or 11, I don't know if I would understand most of it or really kind of appreciate what's going on here as some weird concept art retrospective of John Cena's career, and almost like a long form version of him turning heel, I think, is the whole premise of this.
Oh,
is that not?
I don't know. I think it's the long-term version of it's just the end of his career.
That's what I thought. It was just a great way of showing his career, you know, throughout the ages and his different gimmicks.
Oh, wow.
I just thought it was a really good way of doing that.
I totally didn't get that impression because, like, the whole premise was like 6 years ago in their WrestleMania match, John Cena was meant to join the Wyatt family by basically lamping Wyatt with a chair, and he chose not to do it. And he more or less buried Wyatt's career in the kind of classic John Cena way he was doing. Same thing he did with Rusev, who kind of was undefeated for a year, and now look at him. And then that whole kind of NWO sequence sort of kind of like solidifies that, which is kind of like the quintessential heel faction. And it was like, kind of, you should have joined this, John. And I thought the whole thing was like a kind of, John, you should have turned into a heel at some point in time.
Oh, rather than an actual heel turn for Cena.
Oh, yeah. That's what I thought you meant.
That's what I thought you were saying.
Yeah.
That's kind of the impression that I got, but I don't know.
No, that makes sense.
Now.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
I thought this was
now.
genius.
Yes, but now John
so
Cena
good.
has been banished to the shadow plane. So
yeah, why did you like it, John? Tell us more.
I mean, I just loved all the different references. Like, there's a bit where Bray Wyatt did like a Nikki Bella bit, which was brilliant. And even like the Husky Harris reference. It's just so clever and one of the most innovative things I've seen WWE in a long time.
It's bizarre. Like, the amount of freedom they gave for this, like even having the Mr. McMahon puppet say that's good shit. It's good shit. Like, there's meta, and then there's kind of referencing
That's a reference
stuff like
to
that.
Ambrose's interview, isn't it, with Jericho?
Just incredible self-awareness for WWE out of nowhere.
I know.
The ruthless aggression stuff was amazing.
You'd think a lot of people would think Vince would be like, no, absolutely no way are we having that.
I can't imagine Vince had anything to do with this.
Well, he must have okayed it.
He must have okayed it.
I don't know.
Because otherwise you'd know you were going to get fired.
Yeah, I was going to
no
say
way
Vince, everything goes through Vince, doesn't it? I don't think they can get anything past him.
Can I just ask one question, though?
Yeah.
Obviously, at the end of it, Why did it cut to Titus O'Neil?
I know.
I quite like that.
It made me laugh a lot.
Yeah,
it did.
I'm not sure.
Better than going to adverts, right? If it just cut straight to an advert, it would have been awful.
Titus O'Neil is the one person who, more than Tamina, I am impressed is still somehow
He got a paycheck for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
He's the most dangerous man in the world, Titus O'Neil.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have said anything, though. He should have just stayed silent, looking at the camera until they cut away.
Just very funny and very excellent. Just really enjoyable content. I don't know. I don't want to see them. It was very excellent. I don't want to see them kind of lean on this too much. I still think kind of, you know what, we're still owed a good match from The Fiend.
Yes.
Yeah. I'd worry that people raving about these two kind of matches are going to maybe make them do a lot more of it. And I think come back to some of it potentially every so often when the feud is right, when the story's right. But as just a reminder of just all the history WWE have, it's just so great. And I mean, I don't know how much of this and the Boneyard match was planned before this whole virus thing.
I tell you what, because they owe Matt Hardy and kind of Lucha Underground as well, like a huge credit. Because let's be honest here, they've tried this before with Bray Wyatt with his House of Horrors match, which was garbage, like, you know, just a take of Final Deletion, but a poor one. They did that other mental match with the fucking maggots on the ring, kind of canvas with Randy
New Day
Orton
one as well, didn't they?
Yeah, versus the Wyatts.
You know, they've done a lot of shite, and they finally nailed it.
But if this was, if a lot of this was a response to the situation they found themselves in, then bloody bravo WWE, which is not something we say very often, but making the best of a bad situation, because this now isn't just a car crash of a WrestleMania that everybody wants to forget and we all watched because it was intriguing because there's no crowd. These two matches will be remembered forever. Okay, Brett, one of them because you thought it was dog shit, but we'll never forget this. Like, incredible
The thing
stuff.
is that going back to the Boneyard match, is that kind of the overwhelming majority of people do think that was probably best Undertaker match for a very long time as well.
That is not hard to beat, though.
But also, you can't really call it a match. I can't. I don't. Does that count?
Content. I mean, I don't know.
cagematch.com. Does that count as a
certainly
as a win?
kind of creates an interesting dichotomy. At the end of the day, wrestling is entertainment, isn't it?
Exactly.
And this is entertainment.
I
would
was
say
so
the
entertained.
Boneyard match is more of a match than the Cena Bray one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was a fight. Whereas
There's a winner and a loser.
this was a head fuck. But oh my god, like I had the biggest smile on my face. I was consistently shocked throughout, just thinking, this is amazing. I can't believe they're doing this.
I want to know what all the kids who watch this thought of it, to be honest.
But it's like, I reckon kids probably love it because it's just bonkers. It's madness. Like, as a kid, you don't understand stuff, but if enough crazy shit's going on, you love it.
You're happy.
Yeah. And the bit where he actually turned into the Fiend was truly terrifying. Like, over his shoulder. It was really... Yeah.
Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Good stuff.
So happy to have managed to have got something like this out of this weekend. I'm surprised. Very pleasantly surprised. Next key match, final key match, was the main event. It was Drew McIntyre versus Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. Okay.
There we are.
I was going to say, just to give a little bit more information for the listeners, you know, people might not have seen it. 1 Claymore, 2 suplexes, 3 F5s, 3 Claymores, and that's it.
I thought this was all right for what it was.
Come on.
And also, when
Drew
kicked out of that F5 on the 1 count, that was pretty cool. I popped pretty hard for that.
That was kind of cool. That should have been the start of maybe a half an hour match.
As if.
Brock has it in him. He's done a half an hour match with Daniel Bryan.
They had no time. They had no time left after that other half hour match.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Where should they spend it? I think WWE get confused when people love all the finishes in New Japan matches, because all those finishes come after, like, you know, a solid half an hour match where it's built and built and built. It's not like from the bell, finisher, 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 finisher.
Well, it is
finisher,
with Brock.
end.
I mean, it has been a lot with Brock. Okay, we've had some good matches from him in more recent history, but we've seen lots of these kind of matches with him before.
This was hot garbage. In my opinion.
I thought this was all right for what it was. We mentioned earlier that it was a shame that Rhea Ripley didn't get to have her WrestleMania moment in front of a live crowd. I feel that's so much worse for Drew, because I think it'd be so interesting to see how the crowd would have reacted to his kick out, sort of like that F5 and the early Claymore, and it would have been
still
huge,
meant the world to him. Like, I really appreciated him kind of getting right up in the camera and being like, "Thank you" to the crowd, to the fans who were watching.
Oh, he didn't.
Like that.
He didn't do that for me. Must have been just you, mate.
Just me. He just phoned me. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the match itself is just like, you know Drew's got a better match in him than that, because obviously it's Drew McIntyre.
And you need the crowd for this kind of match.
Better matches out of Brock Lesnar.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need a 6-minute just finisher. That just doesn't do anything.
Both of them are units that, like, you know, clearly, like, Drew is, you know, not only built, but he's also someone that Brock has to look up to. So, like, you know, even if they hit a finisher each on something like that, you know they can still go through that. So, like, there should have been a match there.
Yeah. I was hoping this was going to be at least, 10 minutes or something. I was disappointed it was so quick. But, it is what it is. It wasn't as bad as Goldberg or Braun. It wasn't even on the same level.
I mean, in my opinion, it really was.
It was like one rung up from that match.
I was going to say, this was twice the match for me, because the Braun match got 1 star and I gave this a 2. Literally double the match. I was speaking to somebody before I watched the second night, who was saying, they thought that surely they're not going to put the belt on Drew, because it's just because even if they'd planned to at WrestleMania proper, but given everything that happened, surely it might have made sense to keep it on Brock for another couple of months. I mean, who knows what contract situations are or whatever, and then have this moment at SummerSlam or whatever the next big pay-per-view is.
I really thought Brock was going to go over. I didn't think
that
Drew was going to win this at all.
I mean, this match would have been hot garbage if Drew didn't win.
The one thing I did think was kind of after night one, I thought it's going to be very bold of WWE to give us 2 of the exact same championship squash matches. They surely aren't going to do that. We're going to get a proper Brock match. And I was excited for that.
Yeah, I love a Brock match.
Saw a bloody spoiler for this one, because the network froze, and then I clicked on the W, and it turned out it took me to the WWE homepage, and there was a picture of Drew holding the belt.
I very nearly got spoiled for this, because BBC decided to put an article on their news website about it.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
I suppose because it's Drew Scottish, isn't he? Maybe
exactly, yeah. First British WWE champion.
Oh, shit, really?
Yeah.
Oh, it should have been so big. Oh, such a shame. But, what can we do? Absolutely nothing. Okay, so that was the 4 key matches we picked out. Were there any others that we enjoyed?
Yeah.
Sam, I think you talked about, you mentioned something on our WhatsApp group, and it's my best of the rest as well. Was it the Fatal 5-Way?
Fatal 5-Way. It was a fucking good match, this. Like
SmackDown Women's Championship?
Yeah, this was a really excellent match. Like, the promo that they did beforehand with Sasha and Bayley kind of worked pretty well. Enjoyed that. The actual match itself, I was very indifferent to this to begin, because I was like, kind of, any match with Tamina in it, you're always wondering, like, okay, what's going on here? Why are they making up the numbers? The match itself was excellent. It was really good.
Everyone shone in it, didn't they? Everyone looked good.
Bayley's best match in probably years, I would say. She's someone who benefits from having no crowd in the audience and just being able to speak her mind as she goes.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah. I was so impressed with Bayley in this match. Yeah,
same.
Right.
She was the first example of a wrestler hearing the commentator and then replying as well.
I laughed out loud at that moment.
Cole was like, Sasha and Bayley nearly got eliminated at the same time. No, we didn't. Bayley. I thought
genuinely
that was great.
Rewound that and watched it back.
Yeah.
It was so good.
I was surprised there wasn't more of that. A bit more interacting with the comms team.
I thought this match got super, super good, especially when it's the final 3, Sasha and Lacey Evans. Like, Lacey Evans was so good in this match.
Has come along so far. She was excellent in this match. And, like, she really played the part with, like, Sasha and Bayley kind of taunting her, being like, you're a mum, and that's an insult and stuff. Yeah, I'm a heel wrestler as well. And, kind of just amazing performance. The women's right is a great finisher, by the way.
Oh my god, the one she hit on Sasha.
Right?
Yeah.
Nearly hit her head out the performance centre.
Yeah. She reminds me of Naito in a weird way.
Who? Lacey Evans?
Yeah.
That
just
is
in her
mad
wrestling
in a way.
style.
No, she has that little combination that's like the combination Cabron, doesn't she?
That's probably it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Tell you what, one of my big takeaways was at the end. Obviously, really good storytelling. I thought I love all the stuff that happened. It really was a surprise to see Sasha come in and do that backstabber.
Yeah.
But when Sasha puts the belt on Bayley, it's a magnetic strap.
Oh, that is a shock, isn't it?
Did you notice that?
No.
I thought it was Velcro.
It can't be Velcro.
Well, on the tag match, yeah. On the tag match, when John Morrison pulled it off, it was definitely Velcro. It wasn't magnets.
But, okay, I cannot confirm or deny 100% whether it was magnetic. It's probably Velcro. But it looked magnetic. I just saw all old belts just had like the popper type thing.
They updated it quite recently.
Velcro's a bit naff. You get pubes stuck in Velcro.
What are you doing with the belt?
Well, if you've got the belt around that area, you know what Velcro is like on a coat. You get
Paige can tell you how the belt is.
I was going to say, isn't
God.
that Xavier Woods'
Oh God, please.
area of expertise?
I'm saying magnets would be ace because you could get home.
Magnets would be cleaner.
Shove your belt on the fridge.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That would be cool. You're not going to forget it then as well. It's on the fridge.
No, exactly. Okay, well, let's move on from that. Brett, did you have a best of the rest?
Yeah, it wasn't like a standout match. It was just a decent match, but it's the Street Profits versus Angel Garza and Austin Theory. And I just think it was short. I really enjoyed it.
It was straight after Edge Randy, much needed.
Yeah, definitely. And Montez Ford, like, for one, just saying WrestleMania a few times because he's so stoked to be at WrestleMania was amazing.
Come on, guys. We all know Dawkins is the star of that team.
No, but I do like Dawkins, but like when you just watch this, you just like Montez Ford is going to eventually be a big single star. Like,
I'm
he's
not convinced.
so athletic. He's like promo gold, and his charisma and character in ring, like he's just got so much energy, and he's just forever talking. Like his expressions are amazing. He's just like he is
100%. Every single time the Street Profits walk past like a hairdresser's, I reckon Angelo Dawkins looks a little bit nervous.
He's a talent, man. He's a talent.
He is a talent, but Montez is like going to be I think a big single star.
Yeah,
eventually.
Montez Ford reminds me of The Rock.
We've got a great tag team. We've been calling out for some great tag teams. In many ways, I know there are.
I don't want to break them up now, but like Sam says, like he does remind me of The Rock, and I just think he's going to be, after his Nation of Domination days and all that stuff, he's going to be, the guy.
Actually, I tell you what is interesting is the fact that kind of this whole match was ultimately a vehicle to introduce Bianca Belair to the main roster.
Yes, was. I was like when that happened as well. Before Bianca, I was like, come on, Bianca, come and help your hubby out.
Yeah.
And she did. She ran out. I was like, yes.
What a power couple, eh?
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, impressive stuff. I must say, when she first ran out to attack Zelina Vega, I was like, oh, okay. No, that's cool. I'm happy with this. And then I remembered that she was married to, what's his name? So, yeah, that works well. Montez Ford, sorry. We've been talking about it for ages. What's his name? But yeah, nice and quick match. And I agree. Who needs a crowd when you've got Street Profits? So much energy, just all the chanting and stuff and shouting WrestleMania. Like you said.
One thing that did confuse me about this is obviously Street Profits, they keep saying, we want the smoke. And then at some point, I'm pretty sure one of the commentators said Bianca Belair's the smoke. And that confused me.
Yeah, that confused me.
Yeah.
What did you think about her promo? Or was this on Raw? Maybe this was on Raw.
I think it must have been on Raw.
Yeah, okay. I've not seen it.
Well, she did a promo where she comes out with a jacket and it says, bad dest, fastest, and all the EST stuff, Sam. And then she cuts a promo about being the strong guest and all this stuff, basically fully explaining.
Yeah, well, I worked it out beforehand.
Good. Okay, so where are we? John, have you got a best of the rest?
Just want to quickly mention that I quite enjoyed Dolph versus Otis, and it's not usually a storyline I like, but Otis definitely makes it.
It was fun soap opera wrestling, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was really fun. He's so lovable, isn't he?
I think you're right. I think we should leave
I
it.
don't know. I mean, like, Mandy Rose really didn't look that keen on kissing him.
No. a big, hairy, sweaty man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost
ideal.
like this story seems a little bit outdated.
It is, but I think the way they swerved it, because normally it would be like Mandy Rose was using Otis, like manipulating him. But
And at some point in time, she probably will turn out to be doing that.
No, it's going to be love and kisses from now on.
Marriage, babies.
Sure.
Okay, worst of the rest then. Let's move on to that instead. I might just give a shout. I don't think there was anything that was necessarily really terrible. I just thought on a night that lasted for 3 hours, 25 minutes, just leave Aleister Black versus Bobby Lashley on Raw.
That match was all right, though. It was decent.
It was okay.
I'm clutching. There wasn't anything terrible.
I like Lashley's ring gear. I like that towards
I like
the
Aleister
end.
Black's jacket.
It sounded like Lana was shouting "spare him" as opposed to "spear him." That was kind of interesting.
I mean, the worst of the worst, it was Edge versus Orton. Right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. This wasn't the worst match on the card. It was okay. Just kind of, I don't know.
I was literally had to write something down, so that's what I did.
Could we not say the 24/7 title is still a thing? Is that worse than the rest?
Maybe. God. In fact, it was funny when Gronk won that. Did you notice Todd Phillips sort of messing up?
I skipped it. I'll be honest. I was like, not watching this
because he went, "Oh, and Mojo, of course, won the title earlier tonight when it had actually been yesterday."
Oh,
so giving away that they'd obviously filmed it all in one day.
Oh, nicely spotted, Adam. The one thing I noticed about that actually was kind of like I was thinking the whole way through, like WWE have done a good job, kind of like distancing people and kind of like not having too many people all appear at one point in time together, just because obviously probably not the best conditions at the moment. Then this happened.
They're all piling on each other.
Fucking like a giant pile of like 20 different people. Oh my goodness.
Any other worst of the rest shouts? I mean, this is good. This is a good sign for WrestleMania, isn't it? If you think about last year, we would have talked about 3 or 4 matches which were dog shit.
Yeah.
It's just Randy Orton versus Edge took up all of those and some.
Yeah.
Yeah. Such a shame. Because there were some good moments. Anyway, let's go to star performer. Brett, who's yours?
Oh, don't jump to me.
Oh, I always think you might be ready for something, Brett.
No, okay, I'm ready. For me, it's Bray Wyatt because he's a creative genius.
John?
I'm going to go Bailey. Screw it.
Screw it.
Wow.
I was gonna go Bray, but it feels weird giving it to Bray just because it was kind of it wasn't really a match, though it was cool. Can I give it to both of them, Bray and Bailey?
Yeah,
backtracking here.
No.
Backtracking.
I'll go with Bailey. I'm sticking with Bailey. I thought she was really good in that match.
Sam?
I'd say you should give it to Charlotte, actually. I think she put on a banger of a match.
Okay.
That's true.
I had Bray or Rhea Ripley, so I'll go for Rhea. Fully deserves it. I mean, the spectacle of WrestleMania, there were no nerves there as she walked out.
It's easy when there's
no
0
fans.
people.
I know. It's just mad. But yeah, I'll go for Rhea because she really is a superstar and she is the hardest part of the ring draft. Wrestler of the Year. Okay. Overall rank time. Now, this is an interesting one. Listeners who listened to the previous episode will know that we gave night 1 a 7.875 average. Was this better? Was this worse? Was this pretty much the same? It's kind of hard to tell. So I will think about it whilst Sam gives his score.
So yeah, I thought this was decent. I don't think it was I think kind of similar to night 1, but Randy Orton Edge kind of brought it down a little bit for me. So 7.5.
Okay. So you gave it an 8.5. Night 1, you gave an 8.5. Night 2, a 7.5. John, you gave night 1 an 8.5 as well. What are you feeling about night 2?
So I think this was a lot more average. So I'm going to go 6.
Okay. Wow, that's a big drop.
Yeah, I thought there was like 2 really good matches, like Charlotte Ripley and the Fatal 5-Way. And obviously Cena Bray was really cool. But other than that, it was not much.
Okay. Brett?
Oh, so what did I give night 1?
Sorry, Brett, you gave
6.75.
6.75.
So, yeah, just that Orton Edge match, just even though there were moments that I did really enjoy in this, that just destroyed me. So I'm going to give it a 6.
Oof. Okay, and I gave night 1 a 7.75. I'd arguably say my two favourite matches of the whole thing were on this night with NXT title and Bray John. So, but yeah, 3 hours, 25 minutes. I'll give it a 7.5, so a drop of 0.25. So what's that average, Sam?
6.75.
Ooh, and then if you add if you work out the average of 6.7 and 7.8.
Was it 7.8?
Yeah.
7.275.
So that was a roundabout way of finding out that the overall rank for WrestleMania as a whole is 7.25, which I think is pretty good going considering there was absolutely no crowd.
Yeah, they did a good job overall. I was impressed with what they did.
Yeah. Well done, WWE.
Good. Okay. Quick roundup, actually. I mentioned Raw a second ago. Obviously, the Bianca Belair call-up was confirmed. There were loads of squash matches. God, loads. I watched a lot of this earlier. But also, in the main event of Monday Night Raw, Raw After Mania, notoriously one of the greatest episodes of Raw of the year, we saw Drew McIntyre take on The Big Show.
Well,
And
is that because he's got that Netflix show?
I'm looking forward to that. That's what I'm going to be watching
basically.
tonight.
Oh, God.
The crazy thing about it is that it was actually a dark match that was shot straight after Drew versus Brock.
Oh, really?
So,
I saw a gif of
down.
Drew's reaction to fighting Big Show. It's worth hunting down. It was very funny.
Okay. Anyway, so those are all our thoughts about WrestleMania Night 2, and after a quick break, we will hear what the listeners thought.
Now they're on the ring apron.
This is a dangerous spot in the ring, Morrow. The hardest part of the ring, nothing but steel underneath their feet.
Right, so listener comments. We've got Adam Evans Pringle. He says, oh, this is interesting. Edge versus Orton was great. The lack of crowd noise actually added to it. Felt a lot more gritty.
Oh my days.
It's quite exposing performing like this, so I'm super impressed how engaging it all was. Need to rewatch Bray. I thought it was a promo, and then it was over. That's interesting about Edge Orton.
It's very long. Oh, sorry. Well, that was also very long.
Yeah. Okay, so we've also got Capital Clown Face. Says, Firefly Funhouse was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen, and I loved every mental second of it. Drew beating Brock was great. Brock can take a few months off now. Rhea versus Charlotte was excellent, and I hope this means we can get Rhea versus Becky down the line. Oh my God, I'd love Rhea versus Becky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would watch Rhea versus anyone, to be honest.
The Big Show?
Especially The Big Show.
I love the idea of Brock taking a month off as if he'll be back for one of the smaller pay-per-views. But then he won Money in the Bank last year, didn't he? So, who knows?
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Was it?
Well, I kind of thought it was quite good. Like, not necessarily him winning it, but I quite enjoyed Heyman after he won it.
That was a good reveal.
It'd be interesting to see what they do with Brock eventually, because eventually he will have to go, right? Like,
It can't be. Well, he's not going to live forever. That's true.
Yeah.
I mean-
Carl Luckhurst. Sorry, Brett, were you going to say something?
I was just going to say Taker's still, around putting on matches.
Yeah, but he's not challenging for the Universal title just yet.
True.
You never know. Anyone else? Carl
Yes.
Luckhurst, I think he talked about both events, both nights even.
Yes, he said, really enjoyed it. Some matches were there for filler, obviously, but ladder match, Edge versus Orton, although slightly long. Boneyard and KO versus Seth were my favourites. Always nice to see Liv pick up a win too. Oh, he did watch the pre-show. He watched the pre-show.
There you go.
Best was Kevin Owens versus Seth, or tightest reaction to Firefly Funhouse. Worst was Gronk. Yes, Carl.
Yes.
The great thing about Titus's reaction, so we talked about it briefly, but is that I've already seen a whole load of memes being made. When anybody's does something shocking, they're going to get sent a little gif of Titus rubbing his
Titus
head.
O'Neil is very unintentionally funny.
Yes.
Yeah. You're not laughing with him, you're laughing at him.
Like David Hasselhoff before he became aware of how funny he was.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Anyone else?
Yes, lastly, Graham Hughes has sent loads of good comments, but we're just going to read these last recap one. Best matches were Boneyard and the NXT Championship match. Best of the rest were ladder match, last man standing. Why is everyone loving the Orton?
Did we watch a different last man standing match?
There were good elements to it.
No, there weren't.
Calm down, Brett.
All right, Brett.
Keep it together,
These are my
man.
favourite Brett episodes, these last two. I love it when he's
It's been real Brettlemania, hasn't it?
he also really liked the no disqualification. I'm guessing that's the Kevin Owens Seth match.
Yeah.
Star performer for him was Undertaker. Great choice. What the fuck moment. Kevin Owens off the WrestleMania sign.
Yeah.
And special mention to the lack of fives in the warehouse area. Fives?
Yeah, he says accident waiting to happen.
Is that a...
Do we know what that is?
I don't know.
It's like a safety thing you have to
Graham,
have in a warehouse.
can you write in and explain what the fives in the warehouse thing are? Because I don't know what
no
that
idea.
means. The one thing I did notice was Edge at one point in time got thrown into a case that just said pre-tapes.
I reckon Graham works or has got warehouse experience and he knows his health and safety. And
Graham, can you arrange a last
risks.
man standing match between me and Adam in a warehouse?
Plenty of fives, please.
Lots of fives.
Yeah, we need lots of fives. Good. Well, thank you for everybody who had the energy to watch 6.5 hours of wrestling and then send us some messages. Much appreciated. Next podcast, we are going to take the week off for Easter because this has been, I was going to say slog, but I don't want it to sound like I haven't enjoyed it because I actually did really quite enjoy this much more than I was expecting.
It was nice, actually. Like, I know the Steph bit before the WrestleMania intro bit was a bit like, oh, this is to make you put a smile on your face. Felt a bit ingenuous, but it did put a smile on my face.
Yeah.
Disingenuous.
I think
Disingenuous?
Yeah.
Did I say ingenuous?
You said ingenuous, but like I quite like the idea
I'm pretty
of
sure I said
using
disingenuous.
ingenuous as a word on its own is pretty good as well.
It's ingenious.
Excellent.
You throw me.
Sorry.
So we're going to take a week off.
Yeah.
Slog.
I think we need it. I think you can hear it in our voices. And also, the world is mental at the moment, so a little bit of time off might be quite nice. We will be back, though, the week after with the 2020 Hardest Part of the Ring draft.
My favourite pod of the year.
Yeah, we all need 2 weeks to start working on our spreadsheets. There's a lot of work
the draft
that goes into
starts
this.
tonight for me.
Basically, you have to write down every single wrestler you can think of and then put them into order of how good do you think they are or how good they're going to do over the next year. And who knows?
Like who's going to pick them first? There's a lot of tactics involved.
You have to try and figure out who's going to pick who as well.
I don't do any of that.
You pick a Ripley, sometimes you pick a Perazzo. It's dangerous.
I don't. You like run through the draft, don't you? You sort of go through it and work out who's going to pick who.
I do drafts for myself. It hasn't paid off. I've came last the last 2 times, so maybe I'll just do it off the dome this time.
Yeah, well, no, that's definitely a bad idea. Just no plans. Just go in trying to remember
John,
wrestlers.
what's your secret for drafting?
Yeah, come on.
Why would I tell you guys this?
Is it just pick Kenny Omega?
John just knows who the cool cats are.
Well, Kenny Omega hasn't done that well for me over the last couple of drafts.
Is it pick Will Ospreay? I need
Will
to know.
Ospreay is the guy.
Yeah, took him from me this year.
I would have lost this year if it wasn't for Will.
Thing is, though, guys, we're going to have a new AEW category now, aren't we? So
we're going to have a few changes to the draft that I'm hoping to discuss with you over the next 2 weeks, Adam.
Of course, and Brett and John, remember they're involved as well.
I'm talking about the admin side of things.
Surely, as the reigning champion, I should approve all changes to the draft structure.
No, that's not how it's going to work. Okay, so that's what's going to happen. And then, I think the week after that, we're going to have a quiz.
Yeah, we're going to be testing you guys.
Yeah, we haven't had a quiz for a while. So, hopefully there is plenty of entertainment in the pipeline for you, our wonderful listeners. Good. So we've got plenty of good stuff to look forward to. Brett, it's your turn to do your normal thing.
So if you've got any emails you want to send to us, send it to hardestpartofthering@gmail.com. If you want to catch us on Instagram, Facebook or Twitter, we are @hardestpartpod.
I really like that on the running order it says how to get in touch, and that's the one thing we're not allowed to do at the moment.
Oh, don't. I'm going to give you guys the biggest hug when I see you next.
Oh, God.
I'm going to give you a Spanish fly.
Wow. A standing one?
Yeah.
That would actually be amazing.
I think we've got that in us.
Oh
you
my
definitely
God.
don't have it in you.
Bloody The Rumble, the table, we do not have a Spanish fly in you.
You only learn by trying.
All right. Well, we'll see how it goes. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And thank you so much, Sam, for being a part of this podcast yet again.
Thank you. And thank you, Gronk.
Thank you, John, for just being an absolute joy throughout 2 wonderful podcasts that we've just recorded back to back.
You're welcome. Thank you, Adam.
Brett. See you on the draft pod.
Oh, charming.
It's just your opinions on the Boneyard match have just ruined our relationship. No, thanks, Brett.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks, everyone. That was possibly the worst ending we've ever had. And that was the hardest part of the ring.
That is the hardest part of that ring.